Years earlier, Courtney Walrop sat on her Alabama porch, breathing honeysuckle-scented air, content with her loving high school sweetheart husband Derek, their 3 sons, and a peaceful life. A quiet yearning persisted within her, a dream of a fuller house. That dream began with Derek. He saw her truly in high school. Their simple wedding in his parents' backyard was filled with joy and fireflies. His whispered promise echoed. "I can't wait for our house to be full of little feet and loud voices." Life delivered happiness. Their firstborn, Sailor, brought profound joy. Yet, Courtney felt a space beside him. Having grown up an only child in quiet loneliness, she longed to build a noisy, vibrant family. After Sailor turned 2, they tried again. Each pregnancy test brought trembling hope. Joy bloomed with positives, only to be stolen weeks later by silent miscarriages. Courtney sought meaning. Carrying the weight of loss in a hidden journal of names like unfulfilled promises, Derek remained her steady anchor. Wordless but present, he held her through grief without platitudes. After the 3rd loss, Courtney suggested stopping. She felt a soul was missing. One starlit evening on the porch, Courtney whispered a raw plea to the universe. "If there's one more soul meant for us, please send them." Weeks passed normally, yet a quiet anticipation grew. When the next test was positive, she sat in reverent silence on the tub's edge, holding the fragile hope. This time, it had shifted. She had no idea her body now carried 6 tiny hearts, 6 destinies. For Courtney, grief was a quiet tide, then an 11-week appointment where the room fell still. During an ultrasound, the doctor's frown said everything. The heartbeat was gone. Courtney walked out numb, clinging to Derek as her world crumbled. That night, she hid the tiny onesie she'd bought. Grief arrived in fragments. 6 months later, another loss. She guarded her heart, sharing only with Derek, but hope still shattered. Why could her body conceive but not sustain life? She became a ghost in her own life, mechanically making breakfast, packing lunches, but fading inside. The world felt muted, like watching through fog. After the 3rd loss, hope vanished. Even Derek's optimism dimmed. The 4th loss broke her, bleeding alone in the bathroom. She watched the water swirl red down the drain. She stopped porch sitting, dreaming of names, or speaking of motherhood. Was this punishment? Then, in the deepest dark, her doctor called. The doctor called. Fertility treatments were an option. Courtney hesitated, emotionally drained, but Derek vowed, "Whatever you decide, I'm with you." She said yes. Treatment was grueling, injections, hormone tracking, endless appointments. Yet it empowered her. She was fighting back. Tentative hope returned. Journal entries resurfaced. One starlit night, she whispered, "I'm ready to try." At the next ultrasound, Courtney felt steady. No fear, just readiness. The doctor entered, counted heartbeats aloud. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and yes, that's 6. The doctor turned, each with a heartbeat. She stared at the screen. 6 tiny, undeniable pulses. The doctor explained the extreme rarity and dangers, devastating risks to her body and the fragile baby's survival, clinically. He offered selective reduction to improve odds. Courtney heard the impossible statistics: preterm labor, dangerously low birth weights, immense strain on her body, reduced to 2 or 3, survival chances soared. But the thought of choosing felt unthinkable. Alone on the porch that night, Courtney whispered 6 into the dark, tears flowing not from fear of hard work, but from the terrifying fragility ahead. Derek joined her, shoulders touching. "Whatever happens, we face it together." A message arrived from her friend Sarah. "If anyone can carry 6 miracles, it's you." On the porch once more, Courtney found her resolve. She whispered into the warm night, "I don't know how this ends, but I love them already." 6 flickering heartbeats. "I'm not letting go." By 12 weeks, bone-deep fatigue set in. Simple tasks stole her breath. Her belly expanded at an alarming rate, stretching to hold 6 lives. Ultrasounds confirmed 6 strong heartbeats, but warnings echoed: preeclampsia, premature rupture, stunted growth. At 20 weeks, she could no longer run, bathe, or play with Sailor. Hospital bed rest became mandatory at 22 weeks. Sterile and still, her world shrank to a single room. Machines beeped. Nurses meticulously tracked 6 heartbeats. Each day pregnant was a victory. At 24 weeks, steroids prepped tiny lungs. proof danger loomed. She didn't ask how long she could hold on. She counted each flutter, each milestone. As borrowed grace, community rallied. Church members brought meals, cleaned, mowed lawns, even gifted 6-star embroidered onesies. Courtney wept, overwhelmed by love's tangible presence. In darkened hospital silence, she whispered names, sang lullabies, and promised her unborn, "Don't rush, I'm trying, you're already so loved." At 26 weeks, contractions began, emergency protocols activated, magnesium sulfate to stall delivery, steroids, full NICU prep. Week 28, the breaking point, midnight contractions sharpened. Her call button flooded the room with urgent whispers, cervical checks, and swift preparation. The doctor's verdict, labor won't stop, we deliver tonight. Derek arrived, gripping her hand. They're strong, they'll be okay, he insisted, a mantra against the crushing weight of preemie survival statistics flashing in Courtney's mind. Outside, surgical lights glared as NICU teams mobilized. Through agonizing contractions and magnesium's nauseating heat, she focused only on their safety. Wheeled into the bright or at 3:14 a.m., she drew strength from her husband's whispers until he left. Strapped down and numbed, she felt the pressure as her 6-tuplets were delivered, 6 fragile cries filling the room. Tears fell as each was stabilized in isolettes and wheeled past her, defying odds. Later, in the NICU's humming stillness, Courtney saw her babies. The babies were named Wells, Tag, Lake, Blue, Rivers, Bridge. Courtney and Derek stood silently in the NICU, where life was measured in decimals and beeping monitors. Courtney learned to read the machines, resting her hand gently in an isolette, afraid to press too hard. During kangaroo care, she held each against her chest. Their weight was barely felt, but their presence filled her. Wells' half-sigh made her heart split. She traced his fingers and whispered, "I'm here." She repeated this ritual 6 times daily, amidst a blur of alarms, lung collapses, and infections. Courtney documented each child's progress and quirks in a journal, a ritual blending therapy and song. For weeks post-birth, she and Derek sat in the NICU lounge, replacing clinical letters with chosen names. Names weren't syllables, they were stories whispered into being. They placed handwritten name cards on each isolette. Tag, Lake, Blue, Rivers, Bridge, Wells, these weren't just labels, they were identities spoken into existence, promises and blessings amidst the NICU's hum. Early morning found Courtney gazing at her 6 tiny fighters, each faced distinct vulnerabilities and milestones measured in heartbeats. Courtney spoke comforting words through isolette plastic. "You're safe, we're here." During kangaroo care, each infant rested against her chest, tiny hands and feet feeling like sacred notes only she could hear. This skin-to-skin connection transcended the NICU's tubes and alarms. She became hyper-attuned, spotting Blue's flared nostrils before alarms, feeling River's curious push against her palm, memorizing every gram gained. Discovering Bridge's fleeting sleep smile felt monumental. Wells, now stable, flickered his eyes open when she hummed his name. A homecoming. The NICU staff became family angels. Nurse Hope ensured Lake's feeds. Nurse Marcus gifted Bridge a tiny elephant. Dr. Courtney and Derek began each visit with whispered "thank you" at each isolette, grateful for another night survived. Their community supported with prayers, meals, and homemade incubator quilts, each color symbolizing love wrapping their tiny miracles. On Tag and Bridge's discharge day, Courtney woke before dawn, heart fluttering. Preparing tiny car seats felt surreal. Their house, built for 6, would be half full tonight. Tag lay awake, bright-eyed, while Bridge slept peacefully. Discharge instructions and supplies felt heavy in Courtney's trembling hands. Derek waited outside, eyes glistening. Courtney carried both babies wrapped in their quilts, Tag's red, Bridge's yellow, pausing at the threshold. No alarms, just fragile lives bundled close. The quiet car ride felt overwhelming. Courtney gripped the wheel, whispering, "We got this." Derek's hand squeeze anchored her. Sailor waited eagerly. "My babies are coming," he whispered, rushing to Bridge's car seat. Courtney settled Tag and Bridge into their cribs in the soft-lit nursery. "Welcome home," she whispered, kissing each tiny head. The night hummed with monitors instead of hospital machines. Courtney learned their new rhythm, midnight feedings, tiny heartbeats against her chest. the fierce intimacy of 3 sleeping bodies. The next week brought relentless cycles of bottles and diapers. Courtney and Derek became a seamless team. Learning their baby's subtle cues, Tag's quick hunger, Bridges' soft fuss. When Lake and Blue came home days later, the NICU team smiled, handing over their packets. The ride felt calmer. Tag, already home, crawled towards Lake's room, babbling with curiosity. Fragile bonds formed instantly. The family ecosystem grew. Courtney's tears sprang as Lake reached out, touching the gentle yellow quilt passed from Bridges' crib to hers. A tangible warmth linking sister to sister. With Wells and Rivers finally home, all 6 babies filled the house. The air hummed with laundry, warmth, and cries. Wells slept deeply. Rivers reached for her mobile. Holding Wells late one night, Courtney whispered a long-held thought aloud. All 6, his tiny hand moved against hers, a silent promise. An early morning found Courtney listening to the unprecedented quiet. 6 breaths. 6 hearts beating in symphony within the once-too-big house. Tears came as she remembered the NICU's alarms and machines, contrasted now with the messy reality of home, formula mishaps, diaper leaks. Met by Sailor's eager concern and overwhelming love, Courtney and Derek built small, precious rituals around each child. Tag's tummy time, Bridges' lullaby, Lake's bath, Blue's first giggle, River's self-feed, Wells' nightlight gaze. Rhythm and routine took root. 1 week later, gathered in the living room surrounded by 6 cribs and quilts. Courtney counted aloud. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Derek lifted Tag to touch his siblings. Sailor joined in, clumsy but present. They were more than family, a symphony of 6 hearts, once fragmented, now harmoniously whole. Welcome home, my miracles. Courtney breathed into the quiet. Night brought the relentless symphony of infant needs. Sleep was fleeting. Tag stirred first. Courtney moved with practiced silence, feeding him by dim light. Just as he settled, Bridge woke, beginning the cycle. Blue sniffling at 2:03, Rivers needing burping at 2:45, Lake stirring at 3:17, Wells' strong cry at 4:09. Derek arrived with coffee and formula. Without words, they traded tasks. A seamless, exhausted choreography perfected over countless nights. At 4:27 a.m., silence finally fell. Courtney collapsed on the nursery couch. Tears flowed, grief for lost sleep, profound gratitude for this fierce, all-consuming love. She prayed silently, "Help me keep going, let me be enough." Morning arrived soft and yellow. Sailor appeared, sleepily offering toast and eggs. "Big brother duty," he declared, his eyes proud. Courtney, overwhelmed by the simple gesture, fought tears. The day unfolded in a relentless rhythm. 6 feedings before breakfast, unpredictable diaper changes, endless bottle sterilization, and mountains of laundry. 6 monitored infants filled the nursery. Courtney packed logs. Derek updated charts. Visiting nurses measured fragile progress. Yet, microjoys pierced the exhaustion. Bridges' tickling laugh, Blue's satisfied post-feed smile like a sunrise, River's peaceful sigh, Tag grounding Derek by grasping his pen, Lake's sleepy coo becoming a lullaby, Wells mesmerized by the ceiling fan. They worked in silent shifts, gestures replacing words, sliding bottles, checking monitors, handing off sleepers, hands softened by patience, voices hushed, in a rare quiet afternoon embrace. Derek massaged Courtney's shoulders. No words were needed. Exhaustion and exhilaration balanced in their partnership. However, cracks appeared. Wells spiked a fever, rushing to the hospital, heart in throat. Derek drove steady while Courtney whispered assurances. A viral scare monitored overnight left them shaken. Dawn found them home, holding each other, crying. But life demanded onward motion. Babies, Sailor, house, and their marriage needed them. They clung to fragile routines and tiny victories, specific 2 a.m. feeding shifts. A shared nap in the sunlit nursery with babies sleeping, celebrating an extra ounce gained. A quiet night, a doctor's positive note clipped above the changing table. Their world simultaneously shrank to the demands of 8-9 with Sailor, and expanded with profound love. A snapshot on the fridge, chaotic, joyous, Mama's defender of her tiny sleeper galaxy, reclaimed their reality. At night, they whispered acknowledgement. This is love, sacrifice in its truest form. They embraced the fatigue as testament to their journey. Slowly, nights softened. By week 3, slightly longer stretches of sleep felt like operatic interludes. They celebrated triumphant milestones, an uninterrupted dinner, a bath managed, with only 4 hands. A walk free of monitors, a call answered calmly. Holding each other, they rediscovered the frayed but stronger tapestry of their marriage, woven by the sleepless symphony they now conducted. One quiet evening, Derek played a guitar lullaby as the baby settled. Tag curling his fist, Rivers calming, Bridge twitching, Courtney touched each tiny hand. The wordless music promised normalcy, togetherness, and nights no longer feared. They ended the day as always, phones alert, coffee mugs empty. Stuffed toys lined, a gentle kiss, a whispered, "We made it," and the daring to rest as the sleeper monitors hummed. Morning light revealed a deeper truth. Their family belonged to the village that lifted them. A parade of support followed the sextuplets home. Daily baskets of bread, fruit, casseroles, silent messages. "We are here, we care." Church groups bringing knitted hats/blankets, filling the house with chatter, shared stories, soft prayers, and warmth replacing sterile machines. A neighbor's awe, 6 at once, "You are something special," grounding them in their shared journey. A neighbor's call during a fierce thunderstorm, "If you need anything," a gesture beyond words, a profound, home blessing. Friends hanging laundry like woven hope, a minister's prayer whispered over each crib. Thick with generations of goodwill, Courtney saw her children's roots intertwined with every prayer and act of compassion. Gifts kept coming. A sturdy double stroller. Warm winter swaddles, each resonating. "You are not alone." The neighborhood hosted an evening gathering, lanterns on the grass, children laughing, elders sharing memories. The couple realized home wasn't walls, but the presence of those who helped carry their load. Courtney closed her eyes, sensing the interwoven fabric of community and kinship embracing her family. During a stormy night, Courtney felt peace knowing others kept watch. Dry blankets and warm hats were proof. She no longer carried the weight alone. That evening on dim porch steps, surrounded by 6 sleeping breaths, Courtney whispered to Derek, "We are more than we thought." Their journey was shared. Each milestone was a breathless gift born of struggle, from NICU incubators to exploratory beings discovering textures, tastes, and sounds. The contrast was searing proof of their journey. Night fell in the nursery. 6 babies in varying states of sleep, monitors softly humming. Courtney flipped through their memory journal, leather-bound pages holding fingerprints, milestones, Tag's first roll, Blue's laugh, Bridge's mama, and photos capturing fleeting wonder. Each entry was a heartbeat of resilience. One chaotic lunch, Sailor accidentally recorded a raw fragment of joy. 6 babies stirring, squealing, reaching, a glimpse of intertwined futures that left Courtney and Derek breathless. Beside each crib sat handmade rag dolls from church friends. Tangible symbols of identity and comfort. Courtney whispered nightly prayers for each child's spirit. These prayers wove through exhaustion and nonlinear triumphs, Lake's regression and recovery, Bridges feeding struggles and eventual snuggles. Milestones were memories etched in relief and ache. Their first public picnic became a revelation. Neighbors marveled as the sextuplets interacted on a shared quilt, Blue poking daisies, Bridge babbling, Wells gurgling at toys. Here they found belonging. Doctor visits confirmed steady development, praise feeling both foreign and earned. Tucked into bed, Courtney traced each name on the recorder. She kissed Derek's forehead. "We made memories here," he murmured back. Soft comfort, unbroken commitment. They knew challenges would grow with the children, but in this golden present, they cherished each unfolding chapter. One laugh, one word, one gaze at a time. 1 year later, Courtney and Derek reflected on 12 months stitched by resilience, fear, and hope, but gains outweighed them. Courage, faith, fierce joy in 6 beating hearts. Courtney whispered, "I never thought we'd be here." Their family was remade, resilience redefined. That night, they wrote letters to each child, pouring hopes into words. They lit 6 candles on the windowsill, naming them silently: survival, love, tomorrow. Leaning together, painted in candlelight's weary wonder, Courtney whispered, "We did it," checking cribs one last time, breathing peace. They left the candles burning as tiny beacons. The journey wouldn't stop. They believed fiercely in the miracle of ordinary days, guided by 6 flames and 6 beating hearts. that's all about our stories. Do you have any thoughts after hearing the story? Please share it in the comments below.